Peace family, so I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about learning to minimize the guilt you feel out here. You know what I mean? Learning to minimize the guilt in Western society. So, learning to minimize the guilt. What brings me to this subject today is just like understanding and dealing with my own experiences in real lifetime. You will be positioned or position yourself to where you will be, you know, that nail that's standing out on the board, that sore thumb, you know what I mean? And being in that position, you will find that your belief system, things that you value from within, will be challenged. And this doesn't always have to go for religion. Like, it's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that doesn't have to do anything with religion, but it's still part of your belief system, you know what I'm saying? So kind of like, I'll just connect it to a religion, but like how Islam or certain Muslims won't eat pork or they don't eat pork, you know what I mean? So that's just like a physical representation of it. But that's a smaller way of looking at, you set a goal for yourself and now you're about to feel guilty for not standing solid on it. You know what I mean? In the society we're in today, you're gonna be feeling guilty all over the place, everywhere you go out here, because the majority is riding with the other playbook. So that's why I had to start it off with saying like minimizing the guilt, because it's gonna be hard to remove it, because they are still, they're supposed to be spiritual beings having a human experience, you know, but they do still portray our same vessel. So we still want to treat them the same way. Like all squirrels want to treat each squirrel the same way, whether it's a squirrel from this side of town or that side of town. You know what I'm saying? And understanding these things, you have to realize, like, when you are standing solid on your word or your belief system or your structure that helps connect you to the Most High, you know what I'm saying, or the Creator. When beings start twisting and doing those witchy things to try to make you feel guilty, especially if you didn't commit an offense, first we got to get to that space, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference between committing an offense and then you feel guilty, you know what I'm saying? Say like you had like a workout plan and then you broke it, you know what I'm saying? Like you was in your own space, no one else was around, you didn't have no outside influence, you was just in your spirit world, and maybe another entity influenced you and enticed you, you know what I'm saying? But no physical vessels influenced you. That's a little different. Now you're gonna feel guilty, you know what I'm saying? But that wasn't anybody pushing guilt on you. That's you enticed yourself, or your entity enticed you, which we already know. The Most High is not going to be tempting us to do things that is not in our best interest. You know, whether we learn from it or not, you still not going to get pushed or tempted into that situation. Usually if it's a situation we got to learn from, like we're just thrown in there. You're not tempted. It's not like, come and get some, come and get some. No. It's almost like you can feel the motherfucking energy pick you up and drop your ass in there, you know what I mean? So it's completely different. But when other beings and society is making you feel guilty, you have to understand that you have to minimize it. You have to understand that a lot of things that you stand for and that's gonna move on and carry with you in the next realm is the same things that this structure is built to compress. So if it's built to compress it, then if somebody do something at your house when you get up, make you feel a little guilty, or you didn't do something that somebody asked you to do which you didn't really feel like doing, but say you still feel guilty anyways, then you leave the house and then say you accidentally cut somebody off because you was messaging somebody, now you feel guilty again. Then you get to the store and then, you know, like feel like you took too long, and it's all these people piled up in line. Now you feeling, you see how it can just kind of all run concurrent together if you're not really aware of. So instead of you actualizing and visualizing a situation and being like, all right, this is what it is today when I wake up, we in the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that. As soon as you get that, you can smile and continue to process your normal routine that you have, or your usual routine. And then you try to keep your guilt under 30 to 20% and lower. You know what I mean? You don't want that guilt rising above 40 to 50 and anything above 50% halfway mark. You already know. Hopefully it's your doing why you're feeling over 50%, and not because of beings around you or society just compressing you into just feeling guilty and walking around in zombie robot mode. So when you're able to dive deeper and understand these things, it helps through all trials and tribulations. Like, I'll probably be using my nana, and which is crazy because all my cousins and my siblings, we all call her my nana, even though she's all our nanas. Like, that's just what we do. My nana, it's like more insight and information is coming down into and through the process, and it's always like we have to go on to our next journey. No one gets to stay. So it's like, what can you take from the next being around you? You don't have to go through every single thing if somebody already knows the process and can show you the route. You know what I mean? So like, if you wanted to roam this back here, like, you could roam your own way. But I know a little couple cuts right there, I could walk you. But if you want to take your own method, you are free to, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we be saying, and what I be meaning when I'm talking about as far as like being guilty and taking that on with you as far as throughout your day, and as far as like onto your next journey. Because it's going to be a lot of beings that's going to be out here trying to use you and to make you feel guilty. So the more you can emotionally control someone, the more you can be the puppet master. You know what I'm saying? So if I needed you to do something, and I knew you was a super sensitive being, or say you weren't super sensitive, say I just knew your sensitivity level. Let's say super sensitive is 100, and then regular sensitive is like 70. You know what I'm saying? Say you was just at regular, I would still know those buttons to push to be able to rile you up, to get your energy and motion going, so that way I can kind of maneuver you how I would like to. So if I had you in a frustrated state, I know 10 times out of 10 you ain't really going to want to listen and intake what I'm doing or follow what I'm doing. But what usually happens is, because the process has basically, so it's like the process of putting you in that emotional state where you are almost at no control, because most of us aren't taught how to handle our emotions. So most beings are super riled up and out of control, even if it look like they're in control on the outside. You can look like this, like you in control, and still be out of control in the inside. So, and a lot of beings understand that too, so even when we deal with these other demons, like, they knowledgeable, they do have knowledge, they just don't have access to other realms to be able to use it in a better manner. So even when they try to say you gave them some knowledge and information, some bullets to use against you, they still wouldn't even be able to know how to use it at its full max potential to hurt you, because they don't have access to that. See, the way they have to get access to that is by continuously damaging, hurting, and destroying other beings. So the more they do that, then the more they get access to them other realms. But if they ain't putting in that work, then the thing is with me, is like, I could get away from you, and you might not do what you was planning on doing with me, but you're gonna do it to the next and the next and the next and the next and the next. And I was that young man in school that would be standing up to bullies. So for me, I always tried to figure out another way to process. Like, all right, I can prevent them from doing certain things to me to a certain degree. How do I help the other beings that's gonna be the next fish? You know, it's kind of like we're all in the same pond and they just standing over top just throwing it in. I'm the fish that's aware, that's like, yo, hey, don't take that worm. Don't take that worm. You see that little hook piece right there? They tried to be slick with it. Don't take that one. You know, I'm just going all over the pond from right here, just trying to inform all the other fish, like, hey, do not touch. I know you hungry. I know you want it. But we can get it by other means, you know what I mean? So just keeping these things in mind, you know what I mean? Like, you want to minimize your guilt. Once you start feeling extremely guilty, that leads to other manipulation things that people can do with your energy and emotion. So that's why I always say it's important to make sure you minimize. You got to keep it minimized. We are not going to be able to remove everything. That's why I always, and you'll always hear me say it on this channel, like, everything is on a percentage scale. You know what I'm saying? Even if I hate somebody, which I don't even hate anyone, even with all the witchy stuff that motherfuckers be doing to me, I still don't even hate them. You know how much energy it takes to hate somebody? That means I have to keep thinking about it and processing it. It's one motherfucker that I don't hate, but it's like, if a certain situation happens and occurs, then I have to deal with it. But that's not hate. That's just me being aware of, like, I have my own principles and morals and values that I stand solid on. So as a man, you have to learn how to stand your way. You know what I mean? I'll put it that way. You have to learn how to stand your way, your method. You know your strengths and you know your weaknesses. You know what you're willing to do. You know what you're not willing to do. You know, so being just aware, our awareness has to be on a whole nother level for us to kind of ascend. We're going crazy. For us to ascend and be in a whole nother place and have our next generation in a better space. You know what I mean? So I would much rather take a bunch of fists and bullets for my daughter, opposed to me not taking them and then her taking a bunch of bullets. You know what I mean? So my process is always on the next. You know what I mean? And that's where we all should be at. You know what I mean? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tap into everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.